guy, a crazy guy. He wanted to try to kill me.
A maintenance worker taken hostage during an hours-long standoff between police and a wanted man. This happened in Commerce City last night. Police were trying to arrest an armed man wanted for attacking a woman earlier in the day. That maintenance worker you saw there found himself caught in the middle of a very dangerous situation, and tonight he shared his story with our Ria Ja.
Right, I spoke with him, and a domestic violence suspect had barricaded himself in a home off Niagara and East 72nd in Commerce City. After 5 hours, eventually police shot and killed the man. A neighbor, the maintenance man for the complex, found himself part of the story. Manuel Roca has lived next to this house with his wife and kids for 3 years. Never did he think he would become a hostage inside.
That's why I was scared, because it never happened to me, nothing like that.
When people in his complex need something fixed, they call Manuel. He's the maintenance man. On Friday afternoon, he was working.
In a couple minutes, the guy he's coming this way, and he see me working in the window, and he told me, "Can you do me a favor?" I said, "Yeah, sure."
Manuel didn't recognize the guy, but said he willingly walked into the house next door to give him a hand.
But I go there, and that's not true. He wanted me to sit down, he wanted me to kill me.
He said the guy locked the door and took out a 2-foot-long machete.
The guy said, "I don't care if you have a wife and kids. I don't care, I'm gonna kill you." I think I'm gonna die today.
Outside, a SWAT team and Commerce City police began to surround the house. The man was wanted for a domestic violence assault that hospitalized a woman earlier that day.
Yeah, those cops, he was right here.
Manuel said it was the longest hour and a half of his life.
Open this and then run.
He said he got his break when the suspect turned his back.
It was, and he behind me. But the guy, he see the cop right there, he go back from there inside and lock the door.
Manuel ran straight into the arms of his family.
My wife is crying, and she behind me, and I said, "Well, where are you? Where are you?" No, that was that guy, a crazy guy. He wanted to try to kill me.
After a 5-hour standoff, the suspect was killed by police. Manuel's okay, yet shaken.
Like a devil. No, I can't sleep. No, because I was scared. I was, in my mind.
But Manuel is grateful, knowing his life could have ended in the house next door.
So I was lucky.
Police say the suspect refused to comply with commands to come out of the house and peacefully surrender. His identity will eventually be released by the coroner's office. Ria Ja, 9 News.
Ria, thank you for your reporting. A man is dead after a shooting in Moffat County this weekend. It happened last night after police say he approached officers with a handgun. It happened in a trailer park in Craig, Colorado. Officers say they responded to a report with a man with a handgun, and police say a man went up to an officer and a deputy when shots were fired. Now, tonight, it's not clear who fired. We're asking these questions. Was it the man, the officers, both? But we do know the man died at the hospital. Tonight, Rocky Mountain Arsenal is investigating a small wildfire they say was human-caused. This happened on the Wildlife Refuge near East 64th and Peoria. Several agencies responded to this fire, including Brighton and South Adams Fire. Good news, tonight it's 100% contained. All the trails are back open. And the agency says this is a good reminder to be careful. The conditions right now are still pretty hot and dry. Tonight, the Interlochen fire out in Lake County is 96% contained. This has burned almost 700 acres. Firefighters say weather conditions have really been in their favor. They've been able to make a lot of progress on getting that fire out. There are some areas still closed to the public, though, as firefighters keep working. Businesses nearby say they have felt the impact of this fire with so much less traffic in the area. Summer is usually a really busy time for businesses in Twin Lakes, but it's been a tough week and a half since the fire started. As these visitor areas start to open back up, businesses say they're welcoming people back with open arms.
Right now, as in today, is probably the first busy day of the summer. We were concerned we were going to completely lose June.
Right now, you can get to the upper West Lake of Twin Lakes. The lower East Lake and some of the trails around it will stay closed for now as they continue to fight that fire. Let's turn back the clock for a second. Today marks 1 year since an EF1 tornado touched down in Highlands Ranch. It carried winds up to 105 miles per hour. Thousands of trees were damaged, as were many homes. And we'll bring in Lauren Robinson now because, this is the season where that kind of stuff can pop off real quick. Even though it feels so hot during the day, we can have these crazy storms in the afternoon and evening.
Yeah, that's exactly what triggers these storms is very warm weather, and that's what we're expecting through the rest of the week. Exceedingly hot temperatures getting all the way into the middle to upper 90s through the next several days. Today was kind of a baby step into that. We saw a high of 93 degrees at DIA. Most of the Front Range and Eastern Plains saw those highs in the 90s. A couple of areas did just max out in the 80s. We saw a high of 85 in Colorado Springs, 87 out in Burlington. The high country saw 70s and 80s as well, and then more 80s across the western slope, where those areas stayed a bit cooler because we saw lots of showers and storms across the western slope and high country this afternoon. Now all of those showers off to the west have started to calm down. We only have one remaining storm across the southwestern corner of the state, and that's a storm that started near Purgatory, and it's making its way out of Colorado. So as we go through the rest of the evening, we're going to continue to just see dry weather tonight and then hot, dry weather into the next several days. So coming up in my full 7-day forecast, we're going to talk about that extreme heat that's really going to take place tomorrow. It's going to stick through most of the week, but we do have more storm chances. Some of them could be very strong. I'll have details on all of that just ahead.
Lauren, thank you. Tonight, a teenager is seriously hurt after a crash involving 2 motorcycles and a car in Commerce City. Police say 2 bikers were speeding on 270 westbound near York when they lost control and crashed, and one of the bikers hit a car. 2 drivers and 1 teenage passenger were all taken to the hospital. Not clear how they're doing tonight. We have elk, we have deer, we have bears, and so much more wildlife. Now they have a new way to get across I-70 traffic in the foothills. CDOT hopes to lower the number of crashes in that area with a new wildlife underpass. That crossing will allow animals of all sizes to safely go underneath the interstate rather than try to contend with cars. New fencing will guide the animals away from traffic and into that crossing. State hopes to lower crashes by about 90%.
Fencing allows or prevents wildlife from entering the interstate and really pushes them to use the wildlife crossing underneath the interstate, which is going to be a much safer travel spot for them.
CDOT says they have another problem spot just up the road on I-70 at US 40 near Empire, and they're hoping to build another wildlife underpass there next year. Next month, we expect to get a new look at gates to block nighttime vehicle traffic on Lookout Mountain. Park rangers say people were getting all kind of trouble up there after dark. Jeffco Open Space says the gate plan was formally approved last week. Park officials say they've been dealing with many overnight problems when the park is technically closed. Speeding cars, vandalism, drugs, booze, even fires. Jeffco Open Space says now they hope to get those gates up and running by mid-November, and they will have more updates to share between now and then. 7 paddleboarders were rescued in Loveland last night. It happened around 9:30 at Boyd Lake. Rescue crews say the wind was so strong it knocked the paddleboarders into the water, and they couldn't get back to shore on their own. So crews had to use rescue boats to go out and get them and bring them back home safe. If you're getting on the water, you really need to put your contact information on your boat. It's the law. The Summit County Sheriff's Office says they have responded to several calls in the last week of unattended kayaks out on Dillon Reservoir. They went full blown. They launched searches looking for these kayakers, using boats, using drones. They thought someone was in trouble. Turns out they were fine. The boat owners were eventually found safe on land.
And we are going to always defer to the worst case scenario. And so as a result, we end up using quite a bit of resources when we could have just had some simple answers. And there's ways that we can do that.
Such as, park rangers say, putting your phone number on your kayak so you can prevent a false alarm. The sheriff's office says their rangers even carry Sharpies. Super easy, right? Up in Weld County, there's no getting in the water at Windsor Lake. The state health department says there's some really harmful algae blooms in the water right now. That means recreational activities on the lake, like tubing and water skiing, no go for now. If you are an annual motorized permit holder, you can still get on the lake even through this closure. If you have a non-motorized boat, you can use your permit, but it's like kind of your own risk. They say it's still best to stay out of the water at this point. In Boulder County, tubers can get back in the water in some spots. The county has lifted its tubing restrictions on the North St. Vrain and the St. Vrain Creek, but that does come with a warning. Water conditions still might not be safe depending on your individual skill and comfort level. So if you're going to go out, just be careful and make sure you wear a life jacket.